Yes, welcome everybody. Welcome, welcome. Let's continue with the exploration of the 9th chapter, the practical side of all our studies. And today we will, as Charana was mentioning, we will continue with the objects of meditation and the temperaments. Okay. So together in Pali, may all our teachers be well, long life and good health. So the teaching continue. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa.
Okay, is everybody ready? Shall we start? Yeah, okay. Bante also ready?
Yes, ready.
Okay, so today we are going to continue with the objects of meditation. We are going to session number 86. And so last week, we have been exploring the different kinds of meditation subject or objects of meditation, or sometimes we say the subject meditation subject, no, for samatha meditation. So we have gone through the 10 kasinas, and then the asubha, and then the anusati, the recollections. Briefly, the kasina was like the disc of the earth, disc, water, and then the light, and all these things, no, and then colors also. And then the non-beautiful is the different stages of the decomposition of the body, of the dead body. No, then we have recollections. Recollections was those that were recollections of the Buddha, the Dhamma, the Sangha, of one's generosity, of one's sila, of how of the qualities that that makes a being becomes a deva, and those recollections. Also recollections of death, recollections of well, what else was there? So there were different kinds of recollection. Actually, later on, we will take a look again. So, and then we have also seen the upper manas, limitless, the 4 upper manas. That was the last thing we saw last week. No, so just as a recap, the upper mania have also sometimes called Brahma Vihara. Then we have loving kindness, metta, karuna, compassion, mudita, sympathetic joy, and upekkha. No? So they are called limitless because they can be extend to limitless beings. No? So when we are having this kind of attitude of loving kindness or compassion or sympathetic joy or equanimity, we can take all beings as our meditation object. Like to all beings, we can extend this attitude towards all beings without limit. So therefore, they are called the limitless. No, so that was the last thing we saw. And so today we are going to start with the next group, which is called Saññā. Perception. So here, well, although I say group, but actually it's only one contemplation. This perception is a little bit specific. So perception of what? So actually, it is the perception of the loathsomeness of food. This one we have to be, our teacher says that we have to be a little bit careful when we try to practice this meditation because the mind needs to be stable and not to have aversion, because otherwise if we contemplate how disgusting or how like this, then we develop aversion towards the food or towards the elements, no? So it is not for that purpose. So actually, this recollection is to reflect on how difficult or how much hustle it is to obtain food, or the difficulty in searching for food. No, for example, for the monks, when they go for alms round, they have to walk through the village, and sometimes the road is not good. Like sometimes they may step on stones, sometimes they may hurt their feet, and sometimes people may greet them, or sometimes people may not treat them respectfully. And so there are difficulties in order to obtain food. No, so this is one of the contemplations, and also the first point, difficulty in collecting food. And also now some images are coming, so just beware. This is just a advertencia. Okay. So also, like how actually sometimes, you know, we enjoy so much eating, no? That this food is nice, that food is nice, this is good, that is good. But for this contemplation, we contemplate on how loathsome or how actually not beautiful the process of eating is, no? Like so the food, the chew up food, the loathsomeness of the chew up food, and how it gets when it gets into the stomach, and all the process of when the food is inside us, and finally at the end how it comes out. So the whole process, we are having the perception on how actually food is loathsome in this case. Now, the question is, why do we have to contemplate about this? Now here I put it another image here, because we said the difficulties for the monks to obtain food, but also for lay people to obtain food is not easy. One have to work to gain money, and then after you gain money, you have to go to the market and you have to buy the food, and after buying the food, you have to come home and you have to clean it, you have to wash it, then you have to cook it, and then you have to cut it, and there's so much preparation just for eating. Yes, sometimes we prepared like 3 hours, and then within 30 minutes we finish eating, and another 1 hour of washing, and and this for every day, 3 times a day sometimes. So that's a lot of work actually just for eating. So many times the Buddha, he mentioned that actually we eat only for to sustain this body. And why do we sustain this body? For the practice and for higher development, no? So but many times we take eating as an enjoyment, no? So why do we contemplate on this? Because among all kind of attachment, actually the attachment to taste is actually very strong. So that's called rasa tanha, no, attachment to taste. So we have attachment to sight. We can be attached to what we are looking, what we see, or the beautiful things, or attachment to sound, a beautiful music, or beautiful poems, or anything. Then, or we can be attached to touch, attached to smell, like the perfume or anything we can get attached to. But those things can, just in comparison to taste, can be avoided a little bit more easier. For example, if we want to reduce attachment to sound, let's say, then maybe we sometimes listen to less music, or like these things can be avoided. No, you don't die if you don't listen to music, no, for example. But if we don't eat, we do die, no. So something, food is inevitable, no. So we must eat, and but when we eat, we don't only eat because if we eat we die, no. Because we eat because we like it, because we enjoy it, because we like the taste, and so there's a lot of attachment around food actually, and also. And not just only about the taste, and then we eat it 3 times a day. So a lot of times we deal with food. I don't know. I think in Mexico as well, but here in Asia, food is really a big deal. So people is always talking about food, like eating this and eating that, which restaurant and what do you cook. And then when you're eating lunch, then my mom starts saying, what do you want for dinner? And so it's always about food. So there's a lot of attachment. And so this kind of meditation can help us get rid of a little bit of those attachment and become more, let's say, grounded to the reality now of what actually this food, however much luxury or good taste the food we eat, at the end, how much money we pay for how expensive restaurant or how whatever it may be, at the end what it becomes, only this. Yes, so that's also a reflection that can help. It doesn't mean that we don't enjoy the food or we think it is disgusting or not, because it also sustains our body. It also helps. We need to eat healthy in order that we have good body. How do you say it? Like not situation, but good body. health, no, what good health, so that we can continue with the practice. Because when we are sick, it's also difficult. No, mind may not also be clear, and more suffering and other things. So to take care of health is important. So there is also another contemplation that I think we have seen before, the contemplation before eating, that we eat not because of, not for fun, not for getting fat, not for other enjoyment, but for the sustainment of this body, for living the holy life. No, that's a contemplation that sometimes we recite in the monasteries or in the meditation center before eating. I think maybe you remember we have done that together before. So that's is called Ahare Paticula Saññā. Saññā, we know that is perception, no? So Ahare, do you remember Ahara? Ahara, the essence, how do you call it? Nutriment. Yes, sorry, nutriment. No, ahara. When we study the chapter of the material properties, then we study this word ahara. No? Okay, so ahare paticula saññā is a specific. What kind of saññā is the perception of loathsomeness of food? Bhante, do you have anything to add?
I think we left that it is not in order to develop disgust, but just to know the process, how many things are there. So these practices are designed to give a broader perspective on the experience, and not to get attached to the taste and to the experience of eating that very often we use as a form of entertainment. Actually, we can see at the end, in the Christmas time, in the home, is mostly the mind is what are we going to eat and things. So we can use it as another form of attachment or entertainment. So just to know that there is a noble way to approach food with much gratitude for the work of whoever was involved in it. That's part also of the contemplation. And as you know, we will post on the chat. I don't have it right now with me. This blessing, do you remember? This contemplation mostly that is done before eating, that says, I use this food for dedicating the life for inner cultivation, not for beautifying, not for becoming thin or becoming fatter, or use it as a form of entertainment, but to continue healthy, to pursue the holy life, as it is said in this formula in Pali, which is the right attitude towards food. Much gratitude towards the people, and blessings. In case of the monks, for example, that we receive everything donated, it is a very beautiful connection to know that because I am alive because of the generosity of the people. Literally, I am alive because if people do not donate, I may have died. So these kind of connections are very important to have it in the experience of ingesting our food. Yes.
Thank you, Bhante. So that's another subject of meditation that we covered. Okay, so let's go to the other group. So now we have seen Saññā as well. Then we go to Vavaṭṭhāna. Vavaṭṭhāna is the analysis of the 4 elements. And now this one is a little bit, is quite interesting actually. As we all know, the 4 elements, earth, water, fire, and air, these 4 elements can be analyzed in different ways. This analysis of everything into the 4 elements actually involves the contemplation of how everything and how ourselves are actually a compound of these 4 great elements of this the Patavi, Tejo, Vayo, and Abo, these 4 elements. Now, so and this one can be done with the help of the contemplation of the 32 parts of the body. So the 32 parts that we have seen previously, we take these 32 parts of the body, and then we see some of these parts are more earth element prominent. For example, these first 20 of them until here, they are actually earth element prominent. So we can use these parts of the body and contemplate that they are like more earth element prominent. No, of course they are made up of also other elements as well, but this is more thinking about the body parts. I think in this way it's more conceptual, or more just collecting the mind, making it concentrate. But if we look at the hardness or because these are more like hardness and softness are prominent, therefore earth prominent. No, but if we look directly to hardness and softness, we can actually really experience the hardness and softness. Even when we are sitting, we know the hardness and softness, the touch of the body. And in that case, then it could be more direct experience of the ultimate reality, as Bhante said, and that it's more like the vipassana, more like vipassana. And for water element, although it is not possible to be touched, but the mind can know the direct experience of abho, which is water element. So in this case, when one uses the 32 parts of the body to contemplate the water element, so that all these like the tears or the sweat, or all these things, or the blood, and all these are more like water element prominent, let's say, but they are not really. Since water element cannot be touched, so it's still on the side of the contemplation of these things of water element prominent. But at the end, this is samatha meditation. No, so if as we know, for vipassana meditation, water element is actually a subtle material property that can only be experienced by the mind. The mind can know it, but cannot be known by touch. No, the water bath does not include the water element. No, so in this way they are a little bit different. And then so these 32 parts of the body can be used for contemplation of earth or water element prominent analysis. No, actually. And then about air element, it is said in the Visuddhimagga also that we can contemplate through the mindfulness of breathing. Oops, sorry. Oh, there, I thought you.
Anapanna, yes.
Yes. Yeah. So when we breathe in and breathe out, then we can contemplate or think about the air element, no, in this way, because we are thinking, we're not actually feeling the in this case the movement. We are more thinking about the air element. So I guess in this way it is more conceptual in a sense for samatha meditation, the understanding of air element. Then we also have the fire, tejo. So in this case, we can contemplate or understand the body temperature and in different ways. No? So actually, what this analysis of the four elements is actually important for us to lose the notion of the compactness of the body. That when we think that we are so solid, so one thing there, then we think this is I, this is me, this is you, this is a bottle, this is a phone, or this is anything. No, we take things very solidly. But when we understand that all things are actually just composition, just things that are composed of the four elements and other material properties, then it becomes less substantial. No? Then there is no substance to it, no abiding entity to it. There is no person, no man, no woman, and it's just elements arising and passing away, arising, passing away. So in this way, it helps the understanding of the anatta nature of being.
Which is mostly the aim of all this understanding of clearly knowing what is matter, clearly knowing what is consciousness, and how they interact and how they are composed by many parts. In the same way, everything is ultimately going to trying to understand the three characteristics, which will be the changing nature of it, of the physicality, of the consciousness changing, arising and passing away, the non-satisfactoriness of it because of that change, and ultimately the anatta part. What the Buddha is aiming for is to develop the path to arrive to this understanding of actually it's just nature, many elements coming together. The aim of all this, the whole teaching is going on that direction.
Yes, now that we are talking together, and there are some questions that is arising in the mind about how the contemplation is different in terms of samatha and vipassana. I myself is not very clear about this, so I will ask our teacher, and later if they give more information, then we will tell you again. Yeah, because it seems to me that in this way, if it leads to anatta, it sounds much more vipassana. But we are talking about samatha object, no, at the moment. So that that gives like some questions here. So I will ask again, and then later we will.
Remembering as well, bringing into account that samatha is a preparation for eventually going to vipassana. Is the line we are trying to calm the mind, stabilize the mind with all these kind of practices to eventually change to start contemplating the ultimate realities and understanding nature as it is through the practice of vipassana. They are not separated. Remember that it is samatha is a preparation for stability of mind, so the mind can understand the ultimate realities and develop the highest wisdom.
Okay.
As a path, looking it like a little bit more on a view, is this the line that we need to be? If we only stay on samatha, yes, the mind will be very concentrated, can arrive to the jhanas depending on the object that is taking. Some will go further than others, but the aim of the whole thing is to develop the understanding of the ultimate three characteristics.
Yes.
But yes, let's clarify that then, Charana, to see what part is the borders of one of the other, and where do they mix to complement one another.
Yes, thank you so much. Okay, so anyway, so that's the analysis of the 4 elements. And then the last one we will now go to is called the Āruppa jhana objects. No? So this we are quite familiar already. So I think we can just go through quite easily, because those are the meditation object of the 4 Āruppa jhanas. No? Okay, so now just as a revision, in the first Āruppa jhana, it's called Ākasa-nanchayatana. No? So after a person, he reaches the 5th Rupa Vachara jhana, then what he was concentrating on was, let's say, the kasina this, remember? Like he take the earth this in the beginning, then it become like so polished like a mirror, and then so that's the sign of the nimitta, no? The sign that he has been taking. Now, when he wants to change into Āruppa jhana, so higher degree of jhana, then now he stopped paying attention to that mirror like this anymore. So instead, he pay attention to the space that was being occupied by that sign. So by changing his attention, like moving away his attention from that sign, then that sign itself disappears, because it is just a mental construction. No, so now he's not looking at that sign anymore, but instead he's looking at the space that is being covered by the sign, and then that space, that empty space, expand and expand and expand, and then that space is called space being obtained by the removal of the kasina sign. While akasa here, it means the space, and anancha here means infinite, and ayatana here is the object. So it is the object of the infinite space. So originally he has the disc, the kasina disc, and then he stopped paying attention to that, then it become an empty space, and then he get expand, and then so that his meditating object is now the infinite space. The space that is around there. No? So it's totally a concept here. So then in the first Āruppa jhana, the meditation object here is infinite space. So the mind, that the person, when he's practicing that, then he contemplates infinite space. No? So that's first object of the first Āruppa jhana. Then after the person, he emerges from the first Āruppa jhana, what he does when he wants to go to the second jhana is that now this time he contemplates the citta that takes that Āruppa that takes that empty space as object. That means actually the citta of the first Āruppa jhana. No? So the second Āruppa jhana is called Viññāna Nanchayatana. So it takes the first jhana citta itself, the jhana citta that takes infinite space as object, that citta he takes as its meditation object. So here it is one of the rare cases of samatha meditation, or jhana meditation. Actually, I should say jhana meditation taking our ultimate reality as object. No. because now it's taking a chitta as object. So it is the case that where it takes an ultimate reality. So
it's not the concept of the chitta, but the chitta itself. So before in the first Āruppa jhana, the chitta was in being itself, having the contemplation. Then the attention of the mind goes out, and now the attention is taking that chitta that was holding that infinite space object. Now is looking to itself, looking at an ultimate reality, and in this case, as Charana mentioned. Yes.
So that's why it's called Vijnana Nanchayatana. Vijnana, here Vijnana, although it's consciousness, but it means that first jhana, chitta, exactly, no? And then we have Anancha here, infinite. And so it's like infinite consciousness. But here...
Slowly, yeah.
Yeah, but here infinite consciousness or infinite chitta does not really mean that the chitta itself is infinite. It means that the chitta takes infinite space as object, no? Therefore it's called the infinite chitta, no? But not that the chitta itself is infinite, no? Okay, so that's the object of the second Ārupavācara jhana. So second jhana take the first jhana chitta as its object. Okay, now then we move on to the third Ārupavācara jhana. Now this time the mind takes the non-existence of the first Ārupavācara jhana, Ārupavācara chitta, no? So just like in the first place, then and in the first jhana, it takes the kasina and then it removes the kasina, it take it away, then become empty space. No, now it takes the first Ārupavācara jhana chitta as its object, and now it remove it, so it is not there anymore. So it remove it again. No? So now it takes the non-existence of the first Ārupavācara jhana chitta as its object. No, so it contemplates. Sorry, 1C. It's too much here. So it contemplates on the absence of that chitta as nothingness. So that chitta is not there anymore. So nothingness, like that. It contemplates, and
it does it. The contemplation, Charana, needs to be done slowly with a calm mind. And now we can see, my dear family, that how the mind is getting more refined. The object is still losing the grosser objects. Before was the infinite space concept, then the chitta, and now the absence of the chitta. So it's getting more concentrated, more refined, deeper and deeper, more stable in concentration because of the usage of these tools and the absence of those tools. Yes.
So this third, the meditation object of the third Ārupavācara jhana is called Akincha
Jnana.
Akincha yatana. Okay. Kincha actually means something. So akincha means the not something, no something. Then ayatana is the object, no? So the object of no something. That something refer to the first Ārupavācara jhana chitta, no, actually. So there is no more the non-existence of the first Ārupavācara jhana chitta. So it's called the object of nothingness here.
Yeah, nothingness, more refined.
Yeah, nothingness of that first Ārupavācara chitta anymore. Okay, so then now we go to the fourth Ārupavācara jhana. So after that, again, the mind wanting to go to a higher jhana takes the third Ārupavācara jhana chitta itself as its meditation object, just like in the first and the second Ārupavācara jhana, no? So this time, it again, it takes the ultimate reality as object, and then it contemplates, saying that this kind of mind, the third Ārupavācara jhana, chitta itself is very peaceful. So the mind is like, this is peaceful, this is peaceful, this is peaceful. It contemplates in that way. So therefore, the fourth Ārupavācara jhana object is actually called Neva Saññā Na Saññātana. Here, Neva means neither, Saññā means perception, Na Saññā means non-perception, Ayatana means object, no? So actually here, this Saññā, although it means perception, it refers to all mental factors. It's just like the captain, no, of the group. So for example, they say that group A, let's say group A is, let's say, led by Eduardo. And then so say Eduardo's group, no? So he only mentioned Eduardo, but it means also Andrea and Nancy and Caro and everybody, no? So although it is not mentioned, it means the whole mental activity it's being referred here. So here, neither perception nor non-perception. It's because the third Arupavachara jhana, chitta, it's so calm, so calm. There are so little mental activity at this point. Of course, all the beautiful chetasikas are there, universal chetasikas are there. And for jhana, jhanangas, the jhana factors, there's only upekkha and ekagata, no? So it's so calm and so concentrated that there is almost no activity at all. So that's why it's called Neva Saññā, Na Saññā. No? When a person reaches this jhana, the mental activity in this jhana has become so subtle and so refined that it's difficult to even call it mental activity. But it is not that it has no mental activity, because it is in jhana actually. So there are mental activity, but it is so little that it is so even difficult to even call it mental activity. Bhante, do you want to give us an example?
Yeah, the example that the teachers give, as we have seen before, it is like, how come perception or non-perception, how do you call? So the example the teachers give is like having water. We imagine we empty all the water from the bottle, and then we ask to somebody, do you have water? And then our friend will say, oh, there is no more water. But actually, when we look closely, there is some water in the bottle. But what the friend means is that there is not enough water to be drink. Yes, the bottle is not dry. It still have water, but it is so little that we cannot call it, in this case, perception. Neither there is water, nor there is no water. Not enough water to be drink, but also is not dry. The same happened with our perception. There is so little mental activity. The mind is getting so stable, so calm, that we cannot say that there is perception, but we can also say that there is non-perception, because the mind continue active or present. Saññā is still there, but it is so little that it will just be like the moist on the water that cannot be called. We cannot drink that perception or mental activity. There is not enough water to drink, enough perception to be drinked by the mind, but it is still there. Cannot call it yes, cannot call it no. Nor perception nor non-perception. Yes.
Thank you so much, Bhante. So
wonderful. I really love this example. It just brings everything. It brings everything home so beautifully.
Yes.
Yes, Charana. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much. So the last, this meditation object of the fourth Arupavachara jhana is called Neva Saññā, Na Saññā, Yatana. No? So that means, actually, it means the third Arupavachara jhana chitta itself. No? So now let's take a look at the list to make it a little bit more clear. The first Arupa jhana, it's called Ākasa-naññāyatana because it takes infinite space as object. No? So now here, actually, the name of the jhana and the name of the object is the same. Yeah, because what is different here is now not the in Rupavachara jhana. Remember, what is different, what makes them different, the first, second, third, and fourth and fifth jhana, what makes them different are the jhanangas, no? Which is vitaka, vichara, piti, sukha, ekagata, no? Then we have 5, and the first one, then we have vichara, piti, sukha, ekagata, 4, and then we have piti, sukha, ekagata, and then the big becomes less and less, no? So what makes the jhana difference is the jhanangas, the mental factors, no? The jhana factors. For Arupa Vachara jhana, Arupa jhanas, in this case, the jhana factors are always the same, only upekkha and ekagata, no? Only 2 jhana factors, no jhananga. So what makes them different now for these 4 jhanas are the meditation object itself. So therefore, the name of the jhana is also depends on the object. No? The object is important. So the first one, Ākasa-naññāyatana, takes the first Arupa jhana takes infinite space as object. Second one, Vijnana-naññāyatana, takes the infinite vijnana, which is actually the first jhana chitta, first Arupa jhana chitta as its object. Then the third.
Charana?
Yes.
right now, as you were mentioning, this one image come to the mind, how to visualize this. For example, imagine a little girl that is inside a pool, these pools that they put in the garden. No, the girl is inside the pool, and suddenly the girl goes out of the pool and looks at the pool that she was staying. She can recognize the pool that she was having fun right now, but now she's looking at the place where it was staying. So in the same way, infinite space, the mind will be contemplating the object, and then the mind goes out and looks at the thing that was contemplating that object. Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Bhante. So the object of the third Āruppa jhana citta is the non-existence of the first Vijnana citta. No? So it's taking step back and stepping back and stepping back and stepping back. And the fourth one is the Neva Saññā Saññā Yatana. So now this time it takes the third Āruppa Vācara jhana citta, which is so concentrated as its a meditation object, and thinking that it is peaceful, 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 and then it arrived to the highest Āruppa jhana, Āruppa Vācara jhana. No? So that is the four objects of the Āruppa meditation, Samatha meditation. It's called Āruppa jhana objects. Now with this, we have covered already all the 40 objects of Samatha meditation, which are the 10 kasinas, and we have Asubha, the non-beautiful quality, that which is the decomposition, different stages of decomposition of the corpse. Then we have Anusati, recollections, different kind of recollections. And then we have Apamenya, the 4 Brahma Viharas. Then we have Saññā, the perception of the loathsomeness of food. And we have Vavaṭṭhāna, the analysis of the 4 elements, and the Āruppa objects, which are 4 of them. No? So with this, we have completed all the 40 subjects of meditation for Samatha meditation.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Congratulations, everybody. We are moving on. Very beautiful. Now we have the whole menu of possibilities for contemplation. And you can see, you can go from the very beautiful to the very stable to the little bit more gruesome or a little bit more intense in order to understand reality as it is with the asubhas and all this. So whenever we see our mind, depending where it is, if our mind is too loose or too fantasizing too much with desire, then we go and bring some reality. If our mind is too heavy and negative or something, then we bring some lightness, sending good wishes to other people or contemplating, inspiring the mind with the qualities of the Buddha. If our mind is kind of stuck, the mind is neither negative nor fantasizing, but is not moving, then we start bringing some other meditations like contemplating our own sila that brings some saddha, and then we feel faith on ourselves, self-confidence, confidence on the teachings and the practice, and then we continue moving. So now, my dear family, we have the whole range of possibilities. We must really be very clear where our mind is, what kind of tendency it has, and where is it going if we allow it to stay, in the case especially of the negative. And now we can pick consciously each of these meditation subjects to be able to rebalance the mind and keep it always fresh, always inspired, and always on the move, trying to understand, curious about the process, and stable at the same time, and hopefully beautiful. So now we can be picking and using all these tools for our mental cultivation, conscious mental shaping, like really like mental exercise in all the areas necessary for spiritual advancement. Very beautiful. Yeah. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. We share the merits with our family. Remember our parents, brothers and sisters. We will have also the break right now, so it's a good moment. Let's share all the merits of all this understanding. May these seeds give a lot of fruit, share with all beings, especially those who suffer more than us. And right now there is many people suffering more than us. We are very fortunate. We remember our teachers and all the Burmese community. May everybody be safe. We share the merits also with the lower realm beings, that they are the ones who need them the most. Hopefully our good actions, noble actions of cultivation helps any of them to liberate from lower realms. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu for the collective effort.
Yeah, thank you so much, Bhante. Sadhu, 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 everybody. And so let's take a 5 minutes break, and then coming back, we'll see the meditation object and the temperaments, which are interesting. And I think with that, it will be good for today. And next week, maybe we'll see a little bit more information about that. But well, let's take a break first.
Welcome, welcome. Let's continue, my dear family. Let's go to check the temperament. Before going, as the break was going, my dear family, let's not underestimate the treasure we just covered right now. We have the full treasure of meditative practices that has the ability to counteract any negativity, from dosa to adosa, from lobha to alobha, from moha to amoha, developing understanding, developing detachment, and developing loving kindness. So I think keep this. I don't know if it would be useful to print maybe the list of practices, have it at hand, keep it on your phone. So whenever you encounter somebody and is asking, the mind is doing such and such, you can suggest any of these practices that brings or contrasts negativity or foster the positive qualities of the mind. Really, really a treasure to have all these practices at hand. Let's keep this treasure nearby for our own use and the benefit of others. Yes, Charana, thank you.
Thank you so much, Bhante. And okay, so now we are going to the next section, which is about meditation object and temperaments. But here, first we have to say that actually in the Visuddhimagga itself, it says that these explanations about the temperaments is not to be found in the text. So it's not to be found in the scriptures itself. They are only found in the commentaries. So they are opinions of the teachers. So this is not the Buddha's words, but because it is interesting and because the teachers, they have a lot of experience, so it can give us some clue to what kind of meditation will be suitable for which kind of temperaments of people. So therefore, we are sharing about this with the information from the Visuddhimagga, no? Yes, Bhante?
Yes. Consider the commentaries as the experience of many, many generations of great teachers who were compiled on this. So it is something that was tried, and some observations that they came to after experimenting with themselves and teaching others and seeing the movement of the mind and the tendencies of the mind. Very, very useful. We will see that we have seen before a little bit. We will see the logic of it, and our mind itself has one of these kind of tendencies naturally.
Yes, and also, of course, that everybody has all kinds of tendencies of temperaments actually, but sometimes we are more tend to some qualities, but also the same person can be sometimes more have more raga, sometimes more dosa, and so it depends also, no? So same person can use different kind of meditation object when we are feeling different ways, no? Also, so this is just for reference, and because it is interesting, so we'll take a look at it. Now, there's...
Sorry, Charana, before starting, and as you know, my dear family, there are some corners of our mind that we visit more often, isn't it? There are some kind of patterns that we use most of the time, and our mind naturally recurs to it because it's the one that we have used the most. It's the avenue or the road that is more open. So when the water of thinking arises, the water follows the path that is bigger, easier for the water to go. So our mental habits are a fact, and we visit some areas of the mind more often. That's what gives the tendency of our temperament. We will be more inclined to desire, more inclined to aversion, more inclined to confusion or something like this. Also to the beautiful ones, more to faith, more to investigation or love, like this.
Yes.
But the mind, remembering that the mind is malleable, we can change all these patterns, good and bad, can be changed. It can be molded, and having all this information of what ways do we have, we can do it consciously. Yes.
Yes, thank you. So let's go into the different temperaments, which we have already seen in the previous section. So we just take a look. Then we have Raga Cariyā, lustful temperament, a person who is more tend towards desire. And then we have Dosa Cariyā, a person which is more easier to get aversion or angry or sad. Yes, with Dosa. Then we have...
negative, yeah.
Huh?
Negative, yes, I just said negative.
Okay, yes, then we have a Moha Chariya, then the person who is have more temperament towards ignorance. And we also have a Saddha Cariyā, the faithful temperament, a person who is more tend to being having faith on something. Then we have also Buddhi Cariyā, an intellectual temperament, a person who likes to analyze, to think. Yeah, and then we also have Vitakka Cariyā, a person who is who loves to think, sometimes discursive thinking. No, actually, this character is, yeah. So here there are something interesting before we go to which type of meditation practice is suitable for each type. That first, if you see the alignment here, then you see Raga with Saddha, Dosa with Buddhi, and Moha with Vitakka. So here actually forms pairs. It's quite interesting here. Now Raga and Saddha, it is explained that it is actually they have some common things in there. So among the Raga Cariyā and Saddha Cariyā, they form a parallel pair here because they both involve a favorable attitude towards the object. For example, when we are attached to something, we have desire to something, then we have a favorable attitude towards the object that I'm attached to. No, I like it. No,
predilection. Yeah, we like it. We prefer it. Yes.
Yes, and when we have Saddha also, we also have this favorable attitude towards the thing that we have Saddha. For example, when we have Saddha to the Buddha, then we have this good feeling or this liking towards the Buddha, no, when there is Saddha, when there is faith. So in this sense, it is not really about good or bad. It is just about the feeling of the attitude of that the mind takes
towards the
object. Yes. So therefore, these two, in this sense, because both of them involve the favorable attitude towards the object, they are in a way similar. So there we take them as a parallel pair here. Now,
yes, and this definitely happens, my dear family. In the I have said before that I think that I have Raga Cariyā and also Saddha. When the mind is on the good side, the Saddha is not difficult to believe or to trust or to be confident or inspired by something. It's no problem. So definitely, I can tell you, in the kind of mind that I carry, it definitely in the negative side, it tends to attachment and grabbing. On the other side to faith and think. They really match the qualities of both.
Yes,
positive and negative.
Yeah, for a person who is more with Raga Cariyā, lustful temperament, they are more easier to have faith. Let's say more easier to have Saddha. Yes. For example, a person who has dosa, he being negative, it's a little bit more difficult for him to have faith, to have Saddha, because he has aversion. He doesn't like the thing, that he doesn't like this, doesn't like that. So it's difficult for him to have this favorable attitude towards anything, no? Because his attitude
grumpy
goes away from things, no? Yeah. We will see. So the dosa Cariyā and the Buddhi Cariyā, actually they goes in a pair. Now, this dosa and panya, they have this common nature of turning away from the object, but in a very different way, no? Because for dosa, it has it hurts in an unwholesome way. So because we don't like something, then we want to go away from that object, no? And
avoid it.
Yeah, so it wants to go away from it because we don't like it. But for panya, for intelligence, it goes away from the object because it sees the suffering nature of it. It sees the impermanent nature of it, the soulless nature of it, and the fullness nature of the things.
Foulness.
Sorry, foulness. And then it sees the fault, no, genuine, no, how do you call that? Genuine fault, something that is not good. It sees that it is the non-attractiveness of those things, no? So therefore he wants to go away from them. So in this case, that both dosa and panya have the common nature of turning away from the object, but from a very different perspective. One is because he doesn't like it and he hates it, and the other one is because he understands that it is not good to attach to it. So he wants to go away from it. Yes. Yes, Bhante?
Yes, yes. I was just about to say that. One is going because of aversion, and the other one is because of understanding. Oh, this thing is not good to pursue this kind of thing. It's better to do this other wholesome thing. So it moves away from the object. Yes.
Yes. So in this case, for a person who is more easy to have dosa temperament, dosa chariya, also in the good sense, then he is more easier to have an intellectual understanding because he is not so blind by the beauty of the things, and he see the fault of the things. And he see that it is not all beautiful and it is so nice and so good, and because he sees the undesirable part of the thing, because he has the eye to see the not the aversion, the not good thing about things. So in this case, more intellectual in this sense. Okay, dosa chariya and buddhi chariya, and then they have some common things here, so they form the parallel here, and the last one, which is moha chariya and vitakka chariya, they also forms a pair. Yes, Bhante?
Yeah, it's kind of the attitude towards the object that is similar, but we can see that one is akusala and the other one is totally kusala. But the attitude towards it, towards going away, or in the other case, sada, to looking for the object, is similar to desire. You have this kind of tendency or movement of energy towards the object. Yes.
Yes. So let's go to moha chariya and vitakka chariya. So this last one, moha and vitakka, they are similar in nature, but in what way? Let's see. So a person, if he is deluded, usually he vacillates because of superficiality, because he cannot see the things in a deeper way. He has delusion, so he cannot take the object properly, because it's just floating around the object, because there is moha. Now, but with vitakka, when a person has the thoughtful temperament, in this case, discursive thinking, then he has the habit of the thinking and thinking and thinking and thinking. So he very easily speculate on the thing. So in this case, he also cannot hold the object properly, because he's thinking about this, thinking about that, thinking about this, thinking about that. So in this case, both of them do not know the object very well. They don't. They are very similar in this way. Moha because of delusion, and vitakka because he's distracted. So both cannot hold the object properly.
Or agitated, yes.
Yes. Okay, so this in this sense, then these two forms a pair. They are a little bit similar. Now let's go to raga chariya, lust for temperament. For lustful temperament, we can say that for a person who is more tend to desire, or for whichever mind that is having a desire at the moment, the meditation that is suitable for the person at that time would be the asubha practice, and also the 32 parts of the body, the kaya gata sati.
Bring it down. Is fantasizing up there. Bring it down to reality a little bit, and then understand both sides, not just the beautiful side of reality, but also the non so beautiful. So then it balances. The mind continue more stable. Yes.
Yes, with these two meditation, it can help the person to diminish the lust for this body. Like even our own body, we think this is nice, this is beautiful, or the body of other people, how it looks, or how handsome, or how beautiful, or and whatever it may be. At the end, we have to understand that what the reality of the body is, and also what it is made of actually. So this is good for raga chariya. Now let's go to dosa chariya. Among the 40 objects of meditation that we have seen, for a person who has hateful temperament, the 4 appamenya is very helpful, because when a person practices metta, then he gets rid of anger, and then the karuna and mudita, it makes the mind become happy. Yes, so and upekkha is also very helpful in this case. So the appamenyas is suitable, and also it is said that the color kasinas, nila, pita, lohita, and odata, these color kasinas are also good for a person with dosa chariya, because when the mind looks at the colors, and he becomes calm, and he becomes happy, he becomes peaceful, and so it is just the direct opposite of being having dosa. So that's why it is helpful. Yes.
Yes. When we have dosa in the mind, it only focuses mostly, and everything sees as ugly, as unbearable, and I don't like it, negative. So to bring the contrast with loving kindness, compassion for others, going also outside of ourselves. Dosa is, I am angry with that thing. So the identification is very strong. So we start thinking on the other, on the suffering of other or the well-being of others. Then we start releasing, softening our mind, thinking on the other, and also bringing beautiful mental states as mudita or equanimity, metta, and compassion, plus the colors. We are contrasting the negative and what is, there is another word, the pessimistic tendency of dosa.
Yes. Okay, so that's for dosa chariya. And now for moha and for vitakka, it is said that anapanasati, the breathing meditation or mindfulness of the breathing, is said to be the opposite of moha and vitakka. Because when a person, and then when there is too much moha, then one cannot practice the breathing meditation, it cannot concentrate. And when the mind is very thinking, it also cannot concentrate. So this breathing meditation helps the mind to calm down and to concentrate on the object. So it is good for moha as well as for vitakka.
Yes. And also, if we see, it is anapanasati, isn't it? So I think sati itself is the key point here. Instead of having the mind lost in ignorance, not knowing what is happening, or lost in thought, which also doesn't know what happening, is very active and agitated, we just bring sati in the wholesome universal cetasika of mindfulness, awareness. I know what is happening immediately. Moha cannot exist with knowing. So in this case, according to the 40 subjects of meditation, anapanasati, which is the emphasis, will be dispelling ignorance and dispelling the discursive thinking, because now the mind is concentrated on a real object, not an imaginary concepts that is thinking about the future, past, whatever. Yes.
Okay, so next one is the Saddhā Cariyā, faithful temperament. Now here it is interesting because up till now we have been looking at meditative method which counteracts with the temperament. No, for example, the desirable temperament, lustful temperament. Then we look at something which is not so beautiful, so it's like the opposite of it. Yeah, and dosa with metta and with karuna and mudita and the colors, so it's direct opposite to it. No, because it is the hateful temperament towards something that is kind and loving and like that. So it's direct opposite. And for moha and vitakka, for anapanasati, so one is like jumping here and there, going around, but one is very concentrated just on the breath. So it's like direct opposite. But now Saddhā Cariyā, now here we are going to look at a different type of way of helping. Because if a person, he is already having saddha, so contemplating on the anusati, the recollection, here in this case, the Buddha anusati, then it helps his development of the saddha. So in this case, it is reinforcing. This practice reinforce. This practice does not counteract. Yes. So the person is already having saddha. So by contemplating more on the Buddha, on the Dhamma, and on the Sangha, then his faith, his saddha grows even more. No, so this is reinforcing and forcing his temperament. No, in this case.
Yes,
so
because saddha is not a mental ingredient that we want to get rid of. We want to keep it and make it stronger by these practices. Yes.
So the contemplation of the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, as well as the anusati of one's own sila, one's own dana, generosity, as well as the qualities that makes a person arrive to the Devariyam, so all the beautiful qualities. So all these anusatis, recollection, is good for faithful temperament, a person who is who has a lot of saddha, no, in this case. Okay. So now we finished with saddha, and now let's go to the buddhi. Yes, Bhante?
Yes, regarding about confidence, I think the one of dana and sila, our own sila and our own generosity, that kind of saddha, I think, is very important to boost and to empower our self-confidence. I know I'm not doing bad to nobody, and I'm trying to do good to other people, practicing generosity and practicing the sila. I think that's very important, especially in difficult moments in our life, to have this self-confidence of knowing oneself as a decent, dignity human being. I don't know how to say in English, digno, un ser humano digno. I think that's very important for the faith in oneself, the self-confidence. Very, very useful.
Yeah. Okay, so thank you very much, Bante. Let's go to the next next one, Buddhi Cariyā, intellectual temperament. So for this intellectual temperament, so in the recollections, there are some kind of practice which are more profound in a sense that needs to have understanding in order to practice. For example, the Marananusati. As we have said before, if a person does not have understanding, then when he contemplates on death, then he might get agitated, he might get angry, or he might get dosa, he might get fear and like that. So it needs a little bit more intellectual understanding for this. So this kind of practice is more suitable for a person who is more have tendency towards intellect, no? Like he contemplates on, oh, life is short, life is difficult to get. This opportunity to practice is difficult to get. And so all these things involve more thinking and understanding, no? So death, Marananusati is one of them. Then we have also the Upasamānupassana, the recollection of peace, the recollection of how peaceful Nibbana can be. This also involved understanding, no? Then also we have the Ahare Patikula Saññā. So also this also the person needs to be prepared, and he needs to be intellectually having intellectual understanding before contemplating on this, as well as the 4 elements, the Chattudadu Vavaṭṭhāna also. So these types of recollection analysis are suitable for those who have an intellectual temperament, no? For the Bodhi Cariyas, no? Okay. So
in this case, is also fostering the tendency towards directing the mind towards wisdom. It already, the mind has that tendency. Now we give it good food. Give it good food. Think about the nature of death, the nature of life, Nibbana, etc., etc. So we are fostering that. Think, if you want to think on the right direction. Yes.
Yes, so this is also like, because the person likes to think, so as Bante said, then though this kind of meditation objects which involve more intellectual understanding for its development, it will be suitable. Okay, now let's go, then let's see. We still have some kind of object. We already covered the 6 temperaments, but there are still some kind of other objects left, no? So such as the Patavi Kasina, Abo Kasina, Tejo Kasina, Vayo Kasina, and then we also have the Akasa Kasina, space, and the Aloka Kasina, the light, as well as the 4 Āruppa objects, no, are still there. So for what about these objects? So these objects of meditation are said to be suitable for everybody. Because for the kasinas, so whichever temperament one has, then one can take these objects. It is good for everybody. And for the 4 Āruppa, imagine if a person already arrived to the Āruppa, so whatever temperament he might be, then he already passed through all the Rupa Vajara Jhana. So Āruppa Vajara Jhana, so he can do for sure, no? So anybody who arrives there just arrived, no? Then that is suitable. So it is that there is no difference between whether it is more suitable for one type of temperament or another, because it's suitable for all. But there is a little bit of details here that it is said that for when one practices the kasina, in this case, for a person who has moha, who is more tend to moha chariya, in this case, his kasina object should be a little bit bigger.
He's so distracted that needs a bigger kasina. Make it big, man, so he don't get lost.
Yes, and for a person who has discursive thinking, and his kasina should be smaller, because otherwise he will be looking at so much details and thinking about this, thinking about that, and thinking about like this fold here and this and that, no? So his kasina should be a little bit smaller. So it is mentioned in the books like that. Okay. So now we have got the 6 temperaments, and then which temperament, which meditation the object is more suitable for which temperament. But it is also said in the text that, by the teachers, that actually everybody can practice any kind of these 40 types of meditation, no? Because there is no meditation subject that does not help to decrease lobha, or decrease dosa, or decrease any kind of defilements. So all meditation is good for decreasing the mental defilements and increasing the good qualities of the mind, such as concentration, loving kindness, and all this. So any meditation object is good for anyone at the end. But sometimes there are more suitabilities in different ways, in different situations. But all meditation object is good for everybody.
Yes.
Okay, so until here, then we have explored about the temperaments and also about which meditation objects are suitable for which type. And so I think it's quite enough information for today. And so
Yes.
I think we will stop here about content. And if you want to discuss about anything, then you're very welcome to. And I will stop sharing the screen for now.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Very good.
Yes.
And first, we want to start sharing that it is very beautiful to see you interested. I can see that whenever the slide changes, you can see the faces going, what is this, what is this, what is this? And from here, looking the interest is very inspiring and rewarding for us to know that we are all on the ball and really interested. How can I use this? Sometimes I see among, especially with Andreita, Eduardo commenting, oh, this is happening to choose. Some smiles are rising. Very beautiful, something that we are so passionate about, the understanding of reality, seeing and sharing it as a family is very inspiring, and it's actually very nice. Thank you, everybody, for your sincere effort. So how do you feel? Let's share openly. How do you feel about these practices? What do you see? What possibilities do you see now that we have the full menu with the tendencies? We have all of the tendencies, one more than other, and now we have the antidotes to balance the minds. Yes, Sharana.
Just advertisement. We're not finished with meditation. We only saw samatha meditation. Vipassana is coming, and that's the more important part also. So this fourth one is also very good for samatha, but don't forget that samatha is not all, and vipassana is the most important, and it is coming in the next few sessions.
Yes, remembering that samatha, it is to balance the mind. This is the first thing we need to do. Take it out from negativity, balance in positivity, and foster it. And now after the mind is balanced, now what to do? The mind is balanced. It has a good mental framework. Now develop wisdom. And that is when Vipassana will come and start cracking the ignorance, breaking piece by piece. Yes, my dear. So how do you feel? What possibilities are there seen? How do you feel about the content? Welcome.
Anyone?
Yeah, I just want to share, well, just to say that thank you very much for the class. It was beautiful. This chapter has been like really inspiring for me, because finally we have like learning tools for the practice. We have the theory now, well, before, but now we are learning like the tools for practicing. And yeah, and thank you very much for sharing the part of temperatures, even though temperament, sorry. Yeah, even though it's not in the text as you mentioned, because it was really interesting in my case, or for me. Yeah, and yeah, the possibilities look like infinite possibilities. Yeah, we just need like to be diligent on this.
Very good. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Very nice.
Thank you.
Thank you, Edward. Sí, don Guillermazo levantó la mano.
Yes, thank you very much for all the kindness and the positive information that we have today and all the days before. How do I know exactly how to be honest with the temperament and the personality you have? Because you can think one thing and other people can see different things from the ones that you think you are. You think you are a very positive person with an intellectual activity, but in fact, you may have more moha and more vanity and things like that, who decides the objectivity of the analysis of your own temperament?
Yes, according to the teachers, only a person who has the fifth jhana, who can read the mind of the other, can tell what kind of temperament exactly that person is. So there can be a definite answer, but there in the books, teachers also, they give some hints. Some are quite interesting actually. They say that by looking on how a person walk, how he eats, how he sweeps the floor, and by this way you can kind of know that what kind of temperament this person is. For example, if a person, they say that it is said that if a person, he walks very even steps, very lightly, and he lift up the feet, and then he walks like that. If a person walks like that, he is more likely to be a Raga Cariyā, lustful temperament, or that with more desire. If a person he walks like with the feet like hitting to the floor, and then he is more like sliding, dragging the feet, then he is more the temperament of dosa type of person. And if a person, he walks like this and like that, and not even steps, and sometimes like this, like that, is more like a moha type of person. And so, well, those are the things that the book says, no? And then he said, if a person, when he eats, and then if he, well, you know, in India, they take the food and then they make a lump, no? With the hand, they make like a small ball, and then they eat with the hand, no? So if the person, he makes a very even size, nicely make the ball, and he eats very carefully and like that, so it's more like a Raga Cariyā. And if a person, he just makes like a lump, and then he eat very quickly, and he never mind, and not like trying to enjoy the taste, like this, more like a dosa type of person. And what if a person, he eats and then it's falling apart and throwing here and there, and then like more like moha type. And so it is like that. Or if a person, he likes sour food, sour taste, then it's more like a dosa temperament. So all these little details, it is written in the books also. So it also says that when a person, how he sweep the floor, if the person, because it's talking about monks, no, so it's talking about how he eat, how he walk, and how he sweep the floor in the monastery, no. So when he sweep the floor, if the person, if he sweep like very carefully, and then he's gathering all the dust and everything, like systematically, little by little, like that. So it is like more like lower type. And if a person, he sweep like this, and then throwing the dust here and there, and like that's a more like a dosa type of person. So, and not systematically, and then he sweep the floor that way. So there are these types of references given in the books, but the teachers, they say that it is very hard to really define exactly that person, how he is. Also, a person change, no? Like, I mean, we can somehow know, no? Like if we be honest and see like what kind of emotions, we may say, or what kind of this mental quality arises more in that person. That's also another thing that we can use to measure. If a person, he's usually, he gets angry all the time, and he's very easily get annoyed or impatient, or like, so it's more like a dosa type, no? So we can know by what happens more inside ourselves, or also somehow we can feel towards more which type of person we are. But if a person is of a dosa type, that does not mean that he has no loba, no. Also there moha surely also, no. And of course he also have saddha, he also have intelligence, and so we are everything, but just sometimes we are more tendency towards this way or that way, no. But only a person who can read the mind of the other person can tell exactly.
Yes, I have something to add. In the practical level, there are some things that are very useful, and brutal honesty is necessary. If we really wish to move on this path or in anything, we need brutal honesty. So we are still trying to cheat ourselves. Oh, I'm very kind, and the ego is winning. That's the first thing we need to be doing. So one thing that has been very useful for me is to negativity, I always say yes. Sometimes the mind thinks, I say some thinking or say some word, and the mind thinks, was that dosa? And whenever the mind is thinking, was that dosa? I would say, yes, shut up. The discussion is over. It was, and it really was, generally of the time. If we doubt about ego, was that because of mana? Yes, definitely it was. I say yes. So the thing is solved immediately towards negativity, because as long as we are not enlightened, we will have of everything. And my dear family, you will be surprised how much negativity, as Sadhā Cariyā says, don't look down on the defilements. They will laugh at you. They are hidden and the things are not moving in life. But as soon as the pandemic hits and as soon as some trouble comes or something is lost, you will see how the bomb and all the rubbish that was just holding under the rug, boom, explodes. So always say yes to negativity with brutal honesty about it. And now you mentioned, Guillermo, about the feedback of others, listening humbly. If somebody, yes, we all have a lot of blind spots. Because none of us can see our head right now, isn't it? None of us can see our forehead right now or our ears. We can see the ears of others very clearly, but we cannot see ours. So listen to feedback humbly. If somebody's pointing out, before getting annoyed or insulted or like, why you say like this? Listen carefully. Maybe that person is not very skillfully giving a gift, but is telling you one blind spot that we have. Always say yes. And in general, try all the practices. I would say to be safe, having a healthy meditative diet, try everything, because we all have dosa. Honestly, we all still have a lot of dosa. We all still have a lot of raga, lust and desire and attachment. We all have a lot of moha. As long as we're not enlightened, we are everything. So honestly, let's just have a systematic trial of all the practices and let our own experience guide. Oh, this one is more useful. So we will start understanding, because of the usefulness or the freedom we feel by the practice, we will start understanding if that practice was designed for dosa type, and when I practice it, I feel a lot of freedom. I didn't recognize, but maybe I feel very free while doing this. That means that dosa was already unseen. So healthy mental diet, brutal honesty, listen feedback from others, and good luck. Never stop. That's the thing. Never stop. Try all of them and until we get enlightened. And my dear family, I tell you from experience right now, don't underestimate negativity. We are carrying a lot and it is hidden and it is already playing us tricks. Already our mind is tricked right now. Wait for time and it will be shocking. Good luck. Thank you, Don Guillermo.
Excuse me, do there is any kind of temperament that is more easy to balance or to reach more capability of enlightenment than the other one? Because I think one can be more difficult when you are in a very lust or angriness, and a person that is always in a negativity is much more difficult than persons that are more peaceful, more relaxed, and more thinkable or more peaceful with the people around. So there are many type of temperaments which are more easy to become more enlightened than the other ones.
There are two, the positive ones, the Saddhā and the Paññā one. Definitely they have a hand. They have already the hand on, because it likes wisdom. It already trusts.
Oh, that's the point.
So that one is already.
That's the point.
Now, in between the negative ones, lobha, dosa, moha, and distracted, I would say in general, I have heard from teachers that it's easier for a lobha type people to move forward because it's at least moving because of something. At least I want to get enlightened. So that will help that people, I want to get enlightened. So he start doing slowly in a wrong way or diluted or polluted way, we'll start moving. I want to get enlightened. I want to be a noble person. That will mean then the dosa type will be harder because I don't want to move now this thing and stay. It will move less. And the more at all. So it's more confused. So I will say that in general, it is heavier dosa type. It will be more harder for dosa type people. And we can also see when the release of the negativities of the mind, the ones that are more sticky are the desire ones. So they stay longer. They move for longer. The heavy ones goes first. So, I mean, I'm just talking in general terms for what we have listened from teachers, but it will depend on the people and many other parameters, because we cannot only trust on the tendency of the people. Maybe we have a person who has a lot of dosa, but has a lot of generosity. It has a lot of determination, a lot of sila. It's an angry person, but it's very, very hardly protects the moral, the ethics. So we must bring many things onto the account. It's not just the temperament, but all the paramis and cultivation in other wholesome areas for the individual. We cannot generalize. Yes, Charana.
Yes, it really depends on the person to person. Because, for example,
Yes.
now the Bhante said that the person who has more desire, if the person desire for nibbana, then surely it's easier for him. But what if the person desire for sensual pleasure? He's not even thinking about nibbana, then so far away from the practice, no? Of course, forget about it. Then a dosa person, then if he is angry or like sometimes that it could be harder, but also the dosa and the intellectual, it's a pair, remember? So because he sees faults in things, he also don't get attached so much. And if he's not so attached, then it's easier for him to let go because he anyway don't like it. Yeah, so it really depends point to point. Yeah.
Yes. If the dosa person gets angry with samsara, oh, that will be very good for his practice. He will say, no, samsara sucks, I don't want to be here. And then he starts
easier to let go.
It will depend. It will depend on the object.
Right.
Yes.
So it really depends on the individual. So it's very hard to say that which one is easier. No? Yeah, depends on his own practice.
Great, great. Thank you very much.
Much more than temperament. The experience, the habit, the environment we live around. So many things are on play. Yes.
So promoting consciousness and wisdom is one of the easiest path for most of us. So it's sati and knowledge and wisdom that brings you up a more easy way of concentration. Excuse me?
I said this, with sati and panya is not the easier path, is the must path. It's the only path.
Okay. Okay, it's the only path. Oh, great.
I'm also remembering that
okay.
there is not only mental stability and wisdom. We must remember sila. It is the three things: sila, samadhi, panya. That's the path complete. Generosity, sila, morality, mental stability, meditation, and the cultivation of wisdom through vipassana meditation. It will be the four of them always together.
Dana, sila, bhavana. Bhavana includes samadhi and panya.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Sounds great. Thank you. It's outstanding. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for the class. It was very useful. And I also liked a lot the part about temperaments. But I also could see that the menu is very broad and very useful for different timings.
Yes.
So not only how I feel, but also what we are experiencing, we can get different practices. So that's very nice.
Yes. Same person and different moment and different time need different things also, no? So helpful.
Yeah. Yeah, very, very helpful. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. We need to highlight. Thank you. Thank you. We need to highlight and remember Saddhā Cariyā. My dear family, the key element on all of this, on knowing which practice we will need, is to know ourselves. Where is my mind now? This is very important, to know our mind, know our tendency and our habits, and recognize clearly where is the mind now, so we can skillfully choose the right practice for that, either to booster the good, to foster the good, or to counteract the negativity precisely with one. Definitely that will be the key of everything: awareness of ourselves, knowledge of ourselves, and honesty. And just try, see which one works best. And I will say right now, since all the menu is open, I will encourage everybody, why don't we get the menu and try all of them? Explore each of them to see what this one does to the mind. What does Asubha does to the mind? I haven't done in the past. What are the reactions of the mind, and start working with them? What does the contemplating the beautiful qualities of the Buddha does to the mind? How do I feel? And let the experience and the feeling of physical feeling and mental feeling guide our choice. Later we know, I want to feel like, I want to experience this feeling because it's the opposite of that. So let experience talk. Why don't we go through and try all of them? And then it will be not just theoretically. So that would be the invitation. Okay, my dear. So let's gather ourselves. Thank you very much for the collective. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. We are moving and inspiring. Now we see that the real stuff. This is the real thing. The practices. Let's put them onto our lives, and may that be very fruitful for ourselves in this present moment and many decades to come. May all this practice take root, and we really make use of them and benefit our family, our parents, brothers and sisters, children, grandchildren, pets, friends, neighbors, people we know, including the people we have had, especially people we have had troubles in the past, we release, and also people we will never know, especially those who suffer more than us. May the Buddha's teaching continue for more generations, benefiting many people. Now it's in our hands. We need to plant in ourselves, and may the fruit be shared with many. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu for everyone. May everybody be well, especially people in Burma with the conflict and everywhere in the world. Be safe and sleep in peace. Sabitijo biwajantu sokoro gowanyasatu matebawat wantarayo sukhi dikayuko bawang biwadana silisa nichamuta pachajino chataro dhamma wadanti ayuwano sukham balam bhavatu sabha mangalam rakantu sabha devatam sabha buddhanu dhammanu sanghanu bhavenam sabha sukhi bhavantu te. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Long life, security, health, all the blessings accompanies for the power of the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. May we always live in security and reach freedom from suffering. Thank you very much, my dear family.
Thank you very much, everybody. See you next week. Have a good night.
See you. Thank you. We stay in touch. Gambare, gambare.
Thank you.